Star Trek, you're a real nerd.
I'm a total nerd, but I can't do the live long and prosper. I can't do it.
Really?
No, I know you can, and you don't even look at that.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 27 of the Comic Room Podcast. I'm your host, Spro, and with me, as always, is the co-host, Mr. Longbox.
What's up? How's
Good
it going,
evening.
everybody? Good evening.
For us.
Yeah.
Good morning for you, maybe. Yeah. It's been a crazy week here in SoCal.
Yeah.
A lot of fires. Now somebody who bought from me in the claim sale was affected by the fires. I lived in one of the areas. I reached out. So if you're affected by the fires, hope everything turns out well for you guys.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of just destruction going on.
It's hard to imagine.
Yeah, my buddy actually lost his apartment. He's got a family, wife and a kid, and they were in Florida when it happened, so they couldn't even
get anything out.
No, such a bummer.
He's sure he knows.
Yeah, he's the manager of the apartment, and he was on vacation visiting family or something like that.
That's awful.
Yeah, it is. But we're here to hopefully be just a little bit of a distraction. If you're from that area, but if you're not, you're chugging along life as normal and as you should.
Yeah, right.
So today we're going to do show and tell, a little bit of news, not much. This is a pretty quiet news season. Yeah. I think it's going to start revving up big time, probably Super Bowl. I think we're going to get,
right.
I think we'll get an FF trailer. I think we'll get the official Superman trailer. And then I think at that point, because that's also Captain America will come out then. So it's just going to be a lot. So
it's just been a weird week because, you had the holidays for us here in SoCal, the holidays. And then, starting on Monday, you're like, okay, it's Monday. All the Christmas decor is down. It's time to roll up my sleeves and get back to work and get into stuff. And then, with the wind advisory and then the fires, it feels like a lost week. Like I don't seriously, on Thursday, I thought it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
And which makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm living on the moon or anything, but I just was so focused on, kind of watching, and we lost power for 24 hours. I'm at the grocery store. Everybody else buying ice. There's a run on ice.
Oh yeah.
So it's just been a strange week. So it's kind of fun to get here and just to talk about comics.
Yeah. My buddy, he lives about 25 minutes from here, and he's a teacher at a school, and they had first day classes and then didn't go back the rest of the week.
No, that's it. Yeah. My classes don't start until, if you're watching this on Monday when it drops, then we'll start in a few days. Thursday I'm back for a faculty workshop, and then the following Tuesday is the day after MLK Day is when the classes begin. But that's down there, kind of in fire, not like where the fires are, but pretty close to where the Hearst fire is. So I have no idea.
But who knows at that point?
Yeah, there's no way. There's supposed to be another windy week. So yeah,
man.
So I don't know about you, but you do start looking at your comics and say, okay, I can't fit all of them. If I had to take them and go, what would they be? Well, all my slab boxes would go.
Yeah.
And then I've got a big green bin with a couple of short boxes basically worth of comics stored that are the more valuable ones. But then you start thinking, but I have to leave some of it. I can't keep all of it.
Yeah.
So you just take your chances, I guess,
Yeah, I kind of started doing this after we moved in and we were settled. So I have all my slabs in there in the closet, and then I have the rows of that I have the raws in, and I have it split up: silver, bronze, modern, and then modern keys. I have a totally different box. So I kind of have a priority of boxes in which I could grab. So I'm leaving the modern stuff because it's most of that's just stuff I've read.
Yeah.
Or am reading. And then any keys like Ultimate Spider-Man 1, Spider Boy, like for
Yeah.
Spider Boy, like I can get all those, like I have all those in its own box.
Oh, okay.
So it's like keys and like speculation books, so I can like grab that box. Mostly the modern books would just be left behind.
Yeah, it's funny. It kind of makes you think though. Like, well, would I take the most expensive, the most valuable stuff I have? Is that what I would get? That's what you think right away. But then when you really sit there, you go, well, yeah. But then I have this other box that's just all signed stuff, and it's not even valuable except I paid maybe $10 a signature for it or whatever. But how easily could I replace it? Like that's the other. Would you get your most valuable stuff, or would you get stuff that's impossible to replace?
Yeah.
Well, some of the stuff is so valuable that it would be impossible to replace because I couldn't afford to replace it. So I guess that I guess that would start there. But yeah, it does make you think though. Like, you know, how much of the stuff, comic books aside, how much of the stuff that I've amassed in my life is really important to me, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, my family, you guys, you know, you and Darren, and of course Melissa and Deb, and you know, the rest, you know, handful of comics and the rest of the stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I don't fit in half my clothes anymore anyway. So I have to admit.
I mean, it's all luxury at some point. Like even just the ability to get things out of the house. But it doesn't mean that you don't, like, as much as like the situation is tragic and not being directly impacted by tragedy, it does help you kind of take a moment to think like, oh, like I don't have exit plans like set.
Not really. No, I don't.
And like even the worst we had is we had a power blip for 3 seconds, maybe.
Really? Man, no, we knew it.
And
man.
I was like, oh man, I need to get an APC power backup because I was streaming at the time. And my stream went down, and I was like, why don't I have a power backup? I should have a power backup.
Deb and I went to Home Depot this week, and there were no generators except one weak solar generator. And that was like it was like $800 or $1,400, whatever it was. There was nothing.
Wow.
It was just, they were gone. And I'm kicking myself because we've talked about it. She's been saying for a long time, hey, Bob, let's get a generator.
This is the second time it's happened.
And this is the second time. And last time we threw away a lot of food because where we live isn't necessarily a fire zone, but just above us it is. But what we found out is that the fire lines that run to our neighborhood, the neighborhood above us, that goes through fire country.
Yeah.
And so they just out of precaution, they just turn it off. And they turn it off for 24 hours. So we've got friends who it's down in like Agora, that kind of area. They've been without power for 4 days.
Wow.
Like you can't get enough ice to keep your food going for 4 days. But the worst part, look, I shouldn't even be complaining because we are not dealing with anything close to what.
Yeah, and like the winds aren't even pushing towards us.
So we've been really blessed by by the weather being the way it has been for us. But you know, our stove everything's electric in our house. You know, I prefer a gas stove, but we have an electric stove.
Yeah.
So I'm saying I'm gonna bust out the barbecue in the backyard. I'm gonna fry eggs on the barbecue. And Deb's like, you can't do that. You can't use the barbecue during a fire. You know, people are gonna freak out. I'm like, yeah, you might be right. But then I remember we have a gas powered fireplace. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but you know, I don't know if you've checked, but the cost of a dozen eggs is a lot, right?
Yeah.
And we have like 24 eggs in our fridge, and those are going to go bad. So I was, but what power came back, so we immediately hard boiled like half of them. Like, do we need to put the food in a form that I can eat if there's no power? So I was eating cold. Remember you guys came over for pasta?
Yeah.
That was normally the pasta would keep, but it was meat sauce. So I'm eating like cold spaghetti because we have nothing to heat it with.
That's hilarious. Oh man.
So I mean, really minuscule issues compared to what everybody else is dealing with, for sure. But it was that was our issue. But after 24 hours, we got the power back. So we'll see.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a cautionary tale for us, I suppose you could say. Helps us put just methods in place to be prepared should it ever happen our way. But so anyways, we're news limited, show and tell news. Actually, we might not even do news to the end. We'll see, because your show and tell, I think, might just kind of throw us straight into the discussion. So
Okay.
maybe I'll just do news first, actually.
Yeah, do it.
So we're shaking things up. Sorry, everybody.
It's all right.
Let me see here.
It's an unusual week. We're going to do things unusually.
Yeah. I have to go to my. I didn't make a itinerary like I normally do this week.
Well, you had a busy day.
Yeah, I did. Today I had a busy day. Yeah, I was gonna make it today, but I was buying a new car, compact SUV. Very nice to fit comic collections.
That's it.
So hit me up if you want to sell your comic collections. Just DM me on Instagram.
Yeah, no more renting U-Haul vans and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, first piece of big news, excuse me, is I'm probably saying this first name wrong, is Palak Patel has left Sony, and he was the executive who oversaw Sony's Spider-Man spin-off films. And he also was the studio's point man for the MCU Spider-Man films. So he's gone now.
Wow.
So
okay.
he was pretty much Sony's...
Of his own volition, or did he get fired?
He left. Yeah, he just left.
Okay.
I mean, it could have been. I mean, a little bit of speculation and conspiracy here.
Yeah, movies are a part of his job. Not all of it, maybe, right?
Yeah.
I don't really know, but that's, yeah. Okay.
Sometimes you get told to leave.
Yeah. We'll let you fall on your sword. You can, we'll give you the option of resigning.
Yeah. So, Sony's point of contact for all Spider-Man movie things is gone, which is interesting because, while I do like the Craven movie, I'm not saying it's the greatest Marvel movie even this year.
That's what Ollie thinks she said.
Yeah, that is what they think that I said. Just because I enjoy it doesn't mean I think it's like 5 stars on Letterboxd or whatever.
He seized on that though. You brought that up for early in your. He's like, he's going to do anything to sell comic books.
It's okay though, because if he thinks that's a hot take, just wait.
Yeah,
because I've got stuff cooking for him.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I can't wait.
So it'd just be interesting to see what they do. What a new kind of direction.
Are you going to send him an application?
I mean, I should, right?
I mean, you've already written the next Spider-Man movie for them.
I know, right? Dang, we still need to finish that.
Yeah. That's right.
Maybe we'll do it around the FF trailer time.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, just interesting, something to note. Will be interesting to see who they hire or who they move to kind of fill his spot. Because those Sony movies were not received great. And the MC movies, kind of like hit or miss. They were like, I mean, I enjoyed them all. I think some people liked some, didn't like the others. Right. But yeah, I think Tom Holland is going to have much more. I know he has a production company under Sony now, his own production company. So I think, and he's also like supposedly way more hands-on with the creative decisions with Spider-Man. So he's kind of earned that with the character. Yeah. So then who knows? Maybe it'll be his company. Anyway, so that's that. And then just one other piece here. This is not on the basis of anything reliable. This is purely from a guy who, what's the word I'm looking for? Has sources within the industry. Like I said, there's anonymous. I've said this in the past. There's anonymous
sources.
Like leakers.
Leakers. Yes.
Anonymous leakers, and then there's leakers who like connect their their government name to hey, I'm so and so, and I have sources in the industry, and I want to be your source for leaks and rumors and stuff. And then there's actual like news. Right. That's like connected to the studios. So this is kind of in that second level. This is a leaker who has a full brand. Again, hit or miss. I don't know his exact. There is something out there that like tracks leakers and their success rates on the things that they leak.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
There's something out there. I don't know what this guy is. But his name is Jeff Snyder. He's kind of one of the more well-known ones. He said earlier this week that Marvel Studios reportedly plan to recast T'Challa for the upcoming Avengers films and Black Panther 3.
That's huge news.
It is.
That's huge news.
Yeah, huge rumor.
Okay, sorry.
Huge rumor.
That's a huge rumor, and I'm buying that rumor because it's confirmation bias, and I want it so badly.
I mean, it's coming off the heels of Denzel accidentally kind of leaking that Black Panther 3 is in motion, to which he came out and apologized. He was like, "Oh, my fault. I didn't realize." And then at that point, I think the studio pretty much, I think they did confirm that. Oh man, why am I blanking on his name? The writer, Ryan Coogler, that he's currently writing and doing pre-production for Black Panther 3. So
I think Denzel would be great in like an old man T'Challa role.
Oh yeah,
that would be incredible.
Yeah, there's those like 90s fan casts of like who would play who if the MCU started in the 90s, and he's always the T'Challa cast, and then you got like Tom Cruise as Iron Man, which I hate.
But I think Denzel now makes more sense as T'Challa than he did in the 90s, because he's an incredible actor, but he's never like an action guy.
Yeah.
Before the what was it, the Equalizer series?
Oh, Equalizer.
Now that he's done that, he's more rugged now than he used to be. He used to be a little like prettier, kind of. Now he's just like rugged, more.
Yeah.
I would love him to play T'Challa like in a I don't want to say alternate universe, but where you're kind of flashing forward and he's old and he's talking about it. Like, and then a younger person plays the actual T'Challa character in the present tense, because he would be great. Like he fits that.
Yeah, I don't really know how they plan to do it, because T'Challa's dead in the Marvel universe, so I don't know if they're just gonna like yoink another T'Challa from another universe. T'Challa actually, if you haven't read the Secret Wars run or the New Avengers run from Jonathan Hickman, I haven't read it in a while, but it's really good. And gosh, there's this line from T'Challa. I have to Google it real quick. T'Challa's Secret Wars.
They can just pretend that Black Panther 2 didn't happen and just
yeah, they're not doing that.
I mean, that movie did nothing to move any character forward at all. I didn't like that movie at all. I thought they swung and missed with Shuri big time, and I thought Aquaman looked cool, but they just didn't really do much with him.
Yeah, Aquaman.
I'm sorry, Aquaman. Oh my gosh,
that's your guy too.
I know, subby. Sorry, Aquaman. I got Jason Momoa on the brain because that news dropped last week about Lobo. But anyway, Submariner. So
calls out the
Namor.
Okay, I think this is it. Let me see here.
He's looking right now. If you're listening, don't adjust your volume. We're still here.
Yeah.
He's
I'm looking for this.
So is it still within the buying time to take a stab at an FF52, the first T'Challa, or do you think is that going to kick up on these rumors already?
I haven't seen a bump in it,
because we've talked about this before. That book is terribly undervalued.
Yeah, I think it is. There's one right behind you.
Yeah, there it is. It's so affordable right now.
I can't find it, but I don't know if it's in his Avengers run, New Avengers run, or in Secret Wars, but basically like the incursions are starting to happen, and I think like I don't remember because it's been a while since I've read it, but like Wakanda, I think kind of sees it happen first. I think they get like they're actively seeing the incursion happen, so then T'Challa goes to the Illuminati, which is Charles Xavier, Reed Richards, Iron Man, just the whole like crew, and they're being like really hesitant about moving forward, and he just calls all of them out like in just the coolest possible way, and he pretty much is like, you guys are frauds, like it's the coolest moment, and then he's like, I'm gonna go take care of this myself since you guys are just gonna.
That's what's so great about Black Panther. T'Challa specifically is he the way he's been framed in the Marvel comic book universe, and they did a great job of echoing that in the cinematic universe. He always deals from the moral high ground. Like
Yes.
he just does. And so he's
Yeah.
kind of like Captain America that way, where you just, he always does the right thing and has the right motives. And I love that about him.
I know. I wish I could find. When I find it, I'll send it to you.
Okay, yeah.
It's just like it's the coolest moment of him, just like, yeah, just like standing up for what's right. It's almost like a Bob Dylan Masters of War type, like you in your ivory towers, like you sending out like them to go shed their blood while you can live your luxurious life. Like,
Yeah.
he's pretty much doing the same thing.
That's so great.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
that's a great song. By the way.
So this week we Darren and I, well, last week we watched Infinity War, and then this week we watched Endgame, and I'll bring this up again when we get to our conversation, because I think it'll be a topic of conversation, or topic of conversation under that category. Just seeing like some moments in those movies and like forgetting how good that movie is, because I like Infinity War between the two. And I think when they first both came out, I was like, oh yeah, I like Infinity War more because it like ends with, everybody's dead, like the good guy doesn't win, and that's different, like different storytelling. But now that it's been almost 10 years, it's been 7 years now, which is kind of crazy. I was like, no, like Endgame is the better movie because it's somebody doing the ultimate good.
Yeah.
And for humanity and sacrifice for humanity. And anyway, so I was just really enjoying it while I was watching it. And there's just so many moments that, like I know from like comic covers that they just homage. And I was like, it was getting me hyped for like comics. And I was like, shoot, I need to get some of these.
Let's go.
Yeah. A little bit of a tease as to what we'll talk about later. But before we get there, we got to do show and tell.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I'll go first because yours is...
mine's a spin-off.
Actually, this has happened a few times. I guess both of ours
They are.
do kind of like lead into this conversation.
Yeah.
But I'll go first.
Okay.
So this might be like no, this is the second time I've had a raw book. I normally have slabs
Yeah.
for my show and tell. But
Shaking it up.
this is the end of an era for me. This book right here.
Yeah.
So if you guys have been followers of the channel if you've been following me for at least almost 2 years now, since the short boxed Comic Con vlog, thank you for one, because it's been almost 2 years since, I think that was May of 2023. And we're now in 2025. But anyways, I would say the short boxed con, goodness gracious, is what's
Don't get me started laughing again.
the short box con is what put me on, like really set me on kind of the path to collecting this specific thing. But that's when I got my FF57, which I took off the wall, which is a 7.5 white pager. I bought that raw at a great deal, and I got it graded. It came back 7.5 white, which is incredible. And that book is what set me down the path to collecting Doom covers. Now, this isn't the last Doom cover. There's thousands probably.
Yeah.
But this is my last Silver Bronze Age Doom cover.
Wow.
And this is FF86. So this is, I think they say like the Doom nipple cover, because his little cape holder has just kind of looks like Doom nipples, I guess. Or I've heard other people say pizza.
Yeah, pizza.
The Doom pizza. So yeah, this is the last one I've needed. I've kind of been holding out on this copy. Been waiting for a good price for one, and a really sharp copy. And I saw this one on eBay. Very clean sides, sharp edges, no like discoloration in the white in the back, no color breaks like across the corners or like that go across in the middle. Just very clean copy. I say this is probably like a 7.0, 7.5.
So very fine.
And I got it for $50. So, and I've seen I've seen like 6 of those go on claim sales for like 80, 100. So, yeah, take a look if you want. So My Bronze Age, at least I think it's done. I might have a couple Bronze Age that have slipped through the cracks, but for sure, I've collected now all Silver Age Doom covers.
Nice. That's really nice, man. Congrats.
Thank
So
you.
it's nice to finish a run. So I'm curious. So you finish a run. So now, like, do you light a cigar and just kick back and go, yeah, I've done it? I mean, yes, you do that, like metaphorically or
Yeah.
literally. But then what? Like, do you say, okay, checked off, they're in a box, and then on to the next thing? Or do you say, cool, I did it, I've enjoyed it, now I'm going to sell them all? And I've seen people do both, and I was wondering what your thoughts are now that you've completed it.
No, I can't sell Doom.
There you go.
I've been a big proponent of Doom and just how great he really is.
It sounds like you're saying you're a pessimist.
For a long time. I think he's been treated very poorly in the movies.
Very.
Yeah. And he's a big bad. Like he's also just like, I hate that he's always killed. Like in the movies.
Yeah.
Or
He's just dismissed, discarded, defeated,
he's too strong for that.
Yeah, he's Marvel's most, I would argue, most enduring villain and most formidable villain. He's got power, but also the brain. So,
Yeah, and what I love most about Doom is he is so motivated. Like his own ego and pride is the most important thing, which it just honestly opens so many doors as opposed to being just like, purely evil. Like the Joker. Like with the Joker, it's like, okay, how evil can we make the Joker?
Yeah.
And they push him to some pretty diabolical stuff.
Yeah.
But that's kind of more so just like a pushing the line of wickedness.
Yeah.
But with Doom, it's like he's evil. He's probably got a ceiling on the evil that he'll commit.
Yeah.
But also, he's so self-motivated and he's so concerned with his ego and his pride and how he's seen that there's times in comics where he stepped in to help the FF for the Avengers simply because he didn't want another villain to be more important than him at that time. Which is just like the coolest thing.
It is. He has his own moral code for sure, and sometimes he does act nobly,
Yeah.
and with actual just cause too. Not just like this weird, this self-interest stuff. That's what makes him so much fun as a character. He's consistently inconsistent based on a consistent motivating factor. like Marvel has managed through all the years, from 1961 or 62 on, not to mess him up too much.
Yeah.
He is definitely consistent. He's who he is.
Yeah. So that's always my personal favorite is when he's like, I can't let Thanos win. Like, I'm better than Thanos and I'm way more of a villain than he is. So I'm going to help the Marvel universe defeat Thanos.
Or I can't let Galactus win because if Galactus wins, then there's no universe for me to rule over.
Right. Exactly.
It's, it's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good.
That's good. Good choice, man.
Yeah.
That's a milestone for you. That's a long road.
So I still got Scarlet Witch and Batgirl stuff. Yeah. The Batgirl stuff, I guess. I still gotta get first Batgirl actually, but I have all her other early stuff. So pretty much when I get first Batgirl, I think that'll be done too.
Yeah.
And then Scarlet Witch, still some covers I want to get of Scarlet Witch.
And I know you still want first appearance. You still want X-Men 4.
X-Men 4, yeah.
Yeah, I know you're going to get it, and it's going to be a cool day when you get that book. It's a great book. Yeah. I want that book too.
Yeah,
but that's not as high on my list as it is on your list, but it's high on my list for you. Put it that way. Well, cool, man. Way to go. That's
nice. What's high on my list for you? That's probably not even top 10. Daredevil 1.
Yeah, that's that. I know because you keep sending me these. He sent me just yesterday or late the night where I didn't see it till like after midnight. I almost responded to you because I know you're probably up, but I was like getting ready to go to bed. And if I respond, I'm like, we might go back and forth for like 6 texts because you'll be so shocked that I'm actually awake at that hour.
Yeah.
Right? But it was Daredevil 1. in a 2.5, I think for like 1,400, something silly, crazy, accessible
ridiculous
price.
It's
If I
stupid.
hadn't just made a ppurchase, which I'm not going to talk about tonight, we'll talk about that later, next week. You know, hopefully. I would have been tempted. I mean, I was tempted anyway because it may not be in my top 10, but it's always potentially jumping into the number one slot. You know what I mean? It's one of those books because it is a Mount Rushmore book, and it's the most. We still don't understand why it's the most affordable of the Marvel Mount Rushmores.
Yeah. Yeah, you're an FF guy, and Daredevil's your number 2.
It is my number 2 because of the Frank Miller thing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Here's my show and tell, and it's 3 books, but they're all kind of along this. 2 of them are a pair, and the 2 that are a pair might be a head scratcher a bit for you. One of them is Fantastic Four, issue number 225, and issue 225 is on nobody's want list. It's on nobody's hunt list. Nor is the other one, which is Fantastic Four 226.
Wow, these are huge bangers that you don't see every day.
Yeah.
Well, you don't see them every day, but they're not big bangers.
In anybody else's collection, these are dollar books, perhaps. You know, they're really non-keys. Although this is the first appearance of the.
Can I see that one?
Yeah. Ugh. There you go. First appearance of the samurai sword or whatever it's called, which bears an interesting resemblance to Transformers. And predates Transformers, so you never know, right?
Oh, it's Bill Sink.
Yeah, Bill Sienkiewicz. Yeah,
Sienkiewicz cover.
Yeah, he did some. This is early '80s, and the reason these are on my show and tell for today is that I'm not sure which one of these is the first Fantastic Four I bought off the rack. I think I bought them both together. I think when I had determined, my friend got me into comics. I bought a few comics from him, from his collection, and then we got on our bikes and we rode to the convenience store, and I picked up the most recent FF, and they also had the last month's issue, and those were the 2. And the reason I'm bringing them as show and tell is because, you know, every once in a while when I look at these 2 books. And I hold in my hand, I actually can feel again what it felt like to be that teenager, you know, and be excited and have that wonder about the comic book world, and I don't ever want to lose that. You know, I never want to. So I don't take them out and look at them too often because I want to keep it fresh. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like this one right here, this FF issue 225. It's you know, a god enraged, and it's Fantastic Four fighting, you know, some kind of gods in space, and then below there's this little looks like almost like a Marvel value stamp actually.
Yeah,
I think about
does.
it. And it says plus, and it says a rare cameo appearance by the mighty Thor. And I remember because I was just learning about what makes a comic book collectible and looking at that thinking, ooh, it says rare right on the cover. It's like rare. I wonder if this will be worth something, you know?
Yeah.
And I'd already determined I was just going to collect the FF. So I literally paid 50 cents for this. It's a newsstand, you know? And this one was cool because it says in this little circle and almost in the same spot as where Thor was for FF 226. It says, you know, it talks about featuring the final fate of 3 unexpected guest stars, you know, and in this up here it says the FF journeyed to Japan to take on Samurai Destroyer, and I mean I don't know, it's just
Who were the guest stars? Do you know?
I don't remember. I gotta open it up and see, but it's it captures all that wonder of like I wonder who it is, and I wonder what the fate is. And I don't know. I think it's always good to remember that in the midst of all the collecting and the buying and the selling and the speculating and the GPA-ing and you know all the stuff that we do, which is all great and fun. You know, comic books are at their source fun, you know, fun.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be, you know, catch the eye, make you want to read and take you to faraway worlds, introduce you to wild characters, let you see Japan, you know, and then and you get to see what you pretend might happen when you're a kid with your toys. You get to see it unfold in a comic book, and I just love that, And I read a book over this past summer. I think that the author's last name is Wolk, Wolk, and it's called All the Marvels, and it's a book about the Marvel universe and all the key storylines. But the first 4 chapters are really fascinating because it just talks about like how do you even introduce yourself to the Marvel universe as a reader?
Sure.
And what he says, and this guy literally, he according to him, and I believe him, he read it all. He read everything, and can you imagine? He said he doesn't recommend it to anybody. Like it's
like from
1961 on everything that was ever published
to the assuming let's say he wrote it today to today.
Yeah, and
Goodness gracious.
and he said the Marvel universe though is like a carousel where you can get on at any point. You should be able to read it, pick up a comic book at any point, and just jump into the story. And you can go forward and you can go back and learn as you go about it. And I remember that being true when I picked up these books because I just started reading them, and I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't know about the FF's origins. I didn't know about any of the stuff that's on your wall here.
Yeah,
but I could enjoy the story. It just introduced me to a story, and away I went. You know? And as I recall, I picked up a few back issues before that, and there's like an 8 or 9 story arc story, issue story arc. That's what I'm trying to say. That I, so it wasn't like they were all one shot stories, and it was it should be that way. You should be able to jump on at any point and enjoy a comic book, And I hope we never lose sight of the fun of collecting comics. And this third one that I brought. And I mentioned in here as kind of
before we move on to that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I guess this isn't curiosity to you, but I just didn't want to lose a thought. That guy reading all of the comics, the author. I'm really curious at what point does the world kind of spin out of control? Because they have like a few titles and they start expanding, but then at some point it becomes like Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, like, is that when is just like so hard to like, not like storyline wise, but like world wise? Like at what point in the 90s when they were just like overproducing stuff? I'm really curious. Did he talk about that at all in the book? Yeah,
he did. I'm trying to recall all he had to say about it, but his overarching point was, he did acknowledge that there's a lot of dispute about, what we would call it, the right timeline, or they end certain universes and start new ones and all that stuff, Secret Wars and things like that. But he said at their heart though, it's still, you're still faithful to these characters, and you just follow these characters, it's certainly more complicated now than it was.
Yeah.
But he said even from the beginning, you didn't really have continuity. Like continuity is, something that we complain about, but the reality is, these people were in different. These writers and creators weren't always talking to each other about what they were doing. They were just doing, but Marvel was better than DC about overlapping storylines. They did do more guest appearances and more, they did a lot more of that early, and they kind of were somewhat groundbreaking with that, where stories were, you guest appearances, and, long before you had, for DC, Crisis on Infinite Earths or Secret Wars, or stories that went across various issues. You did have like in the middle of a story, Stan Lee would break in and say, "See," you'd be reading a Fantastic Four issue, and the character would be talking, and then a little narrator would say, "See Daredevil issue 12." So they would do a lot of that cross pollination of their characters and their issue, the story arcs and different issues. But yeah, it was. I've read a bunch of stuff since I read that one, so I can't remember everything he said. But maybe I'll send you a link I'll send you the Amazon link to the book, or I'll just, what am I talking about? I'll just lend you the book, dude. I have the book. Can I take the book? And you have to read the whole thing. In fact, he says the book, you can read the book the way he recommends you read the Marvel Universe. Pick up wherever you want. Nice. It was a fascinating read. And it was something I'm definitely gonna use in my graphic novel class, because it's an interesting way of I'm talking about how Marvel does storytelling, but really fun stuff, man.
I'm going to psychoanalyze you a little bit.
Okay.
You referenced Daredevil 12. Is that because you want Daredevil 1 and Fantastic Four issue 12? So you merge them together?
It's probably true. It's probably true. And, as we're recording tonight, I'm somewhat, I don't say kicking myself because it probably would have been out of my price range, but there was a claim sale tonight.
Friend of the channel,
Yeah,
Jaws Comics.
Jaws Comics. And he did a preview on Instagram, and I saw in the preview that he had a really pretty
They look
looking
sharp.
raw FF12, which you just don't see those raw ever,
Yeah.
you know, in that at least good looking raws. And I saw it and I almost messaged him in advance. But I thought, well, I want to play fair. Like, let's let everybody have. And then I got busy doing stuff today and I forgot. And by the time I logged in, it had already been shown and
Bummer.
sold. So I have no idea what the condition was specifically or the details about the book or how much it went for. But I sure would have liked to take a shot at it,
Yeah, that would have been fun.
you know? Oh, well.
Okay, last thing before we go into your other book. Sorry, you're like racking my brain.
No, that's
with,
fine.
like,
This is fun.
it's part of what a podcast is, right?
Yeah.
So Secret Wars actually was an event that happened not to eliminate every other alternate universe. At least I don't think that it did. But the Ultimate Universe was like the most popular universe, like not non 616 universe that they had. And I think that they were, I don't know what the, like on the publishing side, if they were done with it or not, but they were going to kill it. And so this is where Secret Wars came into play. Was Secret Wars ended that universe. And that's how Miles was created in the Ultimate Universe. And that they were just like, okay, we're going to end the Ultimate Universe through Secret Wars. And we're going to pluck Miles out and we're going to plug him into the 616.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So to tie back to the news we mentioned earlier, a T'Challa, Black Panther, could be the Miles on the movie end of things.
Yeah.
Like Miles is very important in
yeah.
Secret Wars. And so they could just swap that role because there's not a Miles that exists. I mean, there's the animated
Right.
movies, but there's not a live action Miles that we know of. And if anything, what makes sense in the MCU is if you just have a Miles Morales. Well, he's already been referenced from Donald Glover's character in Homecoming. He said he has a nephew and he wants the neighborhood to be safe. So we know Miles exists. What makes sense for Miles is for Tom Holland's Peter Parker to be getting older, ready to retire, or kind of split Spider-Man duties and to be more of a mentorship role as opposed to like a kind of a chess, like move him out of one space, put him into another. But you could do that with T'Challa because there's a void, obviously. That could be interesting.
That would be interesting. Oh.
So just a little bit of speculation from.
By the way, I think if we talk about Miles Morales, you know, the Ultimate Fallout 4 has come down a lot in price.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's the Jurjevic variant or the main. If I had my pick of the three different options you have, the Jurjevic, the main, and the newsstand, I would get the newsstand.
Same.
You know, I would choose a newsstand in an 8.5 over a 9.8.
Yeah.
Because the 9.8s are, you know, look, not knocking. If you have a 9.8, I envy you because I don't have any copy of it. It's a great book, but they're more an 8.5 newsstand. I came up last year at AtCon, I think. And I don't know why I hesitated. You know, it was like, oh, maybe, you know, you ever do that?
Yeah.
And then someone else engages and then you have to just sit back and wait and you're like, and it sold, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, onto the third piece. And it's this book I've referenced because and I've referenced it as a disappointment because I sent this thing in. I was really excited to get it. I sent it into CGC and then it came back a 0.5 and all I could think was 0.5 centerfold missing, you know, like it was just felt like a defeat.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and then the book came and I just, you know, set it aside. You know, Star Trek issue number 1, 0.5. But hey, man, off white to white pages.
Yeah, there you
go. And a cool back cover, black and white, Captain Kirk,
Michael Myers.
Yeah. So
I still don't see it. Because it's his face that they molded the Michael Myers mask after, right?
Yeah.
Horror fans would be able to.
I think I do kind of see
accurate.
it. I think I do see the forehead. But anyway,
I don't know.
I've looked at this book again just recently. I was going through my slabs this past week, and this book popped up, and I've got Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 3. Star Trek 2 is a 5.0, Star Trek 3 is a 7.0, and this one's a 0.5. And I was kind of hoping it would come back like a 3.5 or something like that. But the centerfold was missing. But you know what? I actually don't care. I know that sounds weird. No, you guys don't believe me, right? Like, what do you mean you don't care? Like, of course, yeah, of course you care. You want a 3 in front of that 0.5. Yeah, okay, that's facts. So that we can take that as given. But as far as my personal enjoyment of this, value wise, yeah, sure, 3.5. But my personal enjoyment of and pride of ownership, I don't care. This book is in my collection. It's a 0.5. It presents beautifully. It's a nice looking book. It was never a minty book anyway, but it's a nice book. Yeah, okay, it's missing the centerfold, so it's a 0.5. But I always wanted to own this book. All my life I wanted this book because I watched Star Trek in syndication when I was a kid, and it was always out of my price range. And we were at a convention. I paid $150 for this book, and it came back a 0.5. Okay, whatever. But it doesn't mean I'm not happy to have it in my collection. And the reason that I'm bringing this and what it has to do with the two other FFs is, again, getting back to different ways to enjoy the hobby. You know, I enjoy them for the nostalgia and the wonder of what's inside and with the two FFs here, but I also enjoy it because you have this property that you've always wanted. Now you possess it, you know, so if I ever want to sell it, I'm not going to get as much back for it as I thought I would, because it's not a 3.5 or a 3.0, it's a 0.5. But that doesn't mean I don't love having it in my collection either way.
Yeah.
You know? If it's a 0.5 because the cover's torn in half, yeah, that will affect me because, you know, the cover's torn in half.
Yeah.
But I've got coverless Golden Age Batmans that I'm stoked to have.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a coverless issue of Batman 42, you know, which is a cool Catwoman appearance, and I've read the whole story. I would love to get that with a cover on it, but it's going to cost me thousands.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked to have it.
Sure.
So like wherever you can get in and whatever the condition of the book is, you should never be ashamed of the book. Like if it's something that you're happy to have, then you should be happy to have it.
Yeah.
You know, and not be, and it's all about attitude, because I was disappointed, but now the disappointment has faded. All that remains is the pride of ownership. I'm not ashamed to own a 0.5.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have this book. And I thought maybe, I'm just going to replace it. Let me go spend another $800 and get a 5.0 so I can redeem. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it because I know what's going to happen. If the numbers were reversed and I had a 5.0, I wouldn't feel any more proud of a 5.0 than I do a 0.5. I'm telling you, like it wouldn't scratch the itch to own the book. I already own the book.
Yeah.
So, you know, and all things considered, if I'm going to spend the money, I would rather get a property I don't own, so I could have the excitement about that too.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm ever going to replace it. I'm going to keep it as a testament and a reminder. Don't get so hung up on condition if it's a book you love.
Yeah.
And I love this book. I've always loved this book. This is a book that has stopped me at conventions from when I was a kid. And this is long before grading. And I never thought about the grade of the book. I just went, wow, I wish I could own that book. And now I do. So when I'm going to look at it and go, oh, gee, I don't really like the book because, you know, the centerfold is missing. I love the book. So, you know,
Star Trek, you're a real nerd.
I'm a total nerd, but I can't do the live long and prosper. I can't do it.
Really?
No, I know you can. And you don't even look at that. I just can't.
Why can't you do that?
Because I can't. And why can't I curl my tongue? You know, I don't know why.
Can you roll your R's?
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I know you think I'm just this gringo, but I'll tell you right now, if you were to close your eyes and just listen to my Spanish, you'd think I was raised in Mexico City.
Órale.
Órale pues, bro. So there's my show and tells, plural, for the night. But I really do love that book. It's actually one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
Even though it's a 0.5, I just don't care anymore.
I never got into Star Trek, so I have no emotional attachment, but I'm happy for that for you.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Also, I was like, I'm sitting here listening to you talk because for like the past 10 minutes, you've like done your show and tell. And I'm like, I've kind of been confused because I can feel the lighting in the room changing and I'm noticing it behind you. But I think like I was like, am I crazy?
Do you have a migraine or
But
what's
I
going on?
accidentally have the lights on because it's all like, colored lights that go on behind us. It's on a rotation. But
Oh, cool.
but it's the first time I've ever done that, and I did it completely by accident because I normally have static. I have like on the lights, I have it under like a podcast category that they all have their own color. But I'm like sitting here, and out of the corner of my eye, it's like I see the wall on this side change color, and I'm like, am I hallucinating? Like,
Bring back disco, baby.
what am I like? Anyways, so yeah, that was funny. Just seeing these colors
That's
behind
interesting.
you.
Is it going to turn magenta soon again?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well,
I
that's
mean, I
fine.
guess when I start talking, you'll see that
I'll
change
see
color.
it. Well, I mean, every other style of music has come back from punk rock to metal to well, maybe not polka. I don't think polka music has actually made a comeback.
No, it shouldn't.
But disco has not really made a comeback. You can't really like dance music has, like hip hop has. So maybe that's the modern version of disco. But I mean, I'm talking about like 1978, Donna Summer, the Commodores, a disco
Commodores.
a disco song that the single is as fat and as an LP. I'm using vinyl lingo right now, but basically what that translates to in digital time language is you get a song the hit song is a 2.5 or 3.5 minute song, but the disco version is like 12 minutes long.
Oh, that's funny.
Good stuff, man. Good memories.
Disco. That'd be cool if it made a comeback.
Yeah, man. Please make a comeback before my hip gets any worse, while I can still dance a little bit.
Oh man. So your show and tell is kind of gonna catapult us on into our conversation, just talking about how did you word it earlier?
Yeah, just getting back and remembering, the joy of the hobby. The joy of collecting and reading and the wonder of walking into a comics shop or seeing the new comics on the rack. Like what is it that excites you about being in the hobby,
Yeah. So we were originally going to give our market projection for 2025. And then you had just said this kind of in passing when we were having a conversation. I was like, before we get to we can do market stuff next week. Before we get to market stuff, let's like do that almost like a recentering. Or like
I love it.
Remembering, so to say. And I felt a little bit of that when we went to the con last weekend, the little comic show. And I think I felt it for a couple reasons. One, because I wasn't hanging myself up on like the price of wall books. I just completely ignored wall books. I still don't think it's right. Whatever, it's their book. They do what they want. I've always said that, but it doesn't mean that it's a good thing. But the other thing was I really wasn't thinking about like myself too much while we were there. Like I was thinking about getting books for customers and like
interesting.
Like
yeah.
kind of I remember this person bought this. So I think that they could like this if I brought it into a claim sale. And so I just had my mindset totally changed at the con. And it was like reinvigorating, like reignited. Like
that's good.
I mean, not like my passion for comics was dying or anything. Like I just launched a business. Like I wasn't,
right.
I wasn't losing any fuel by any means. At least I would say I wasn't. But I was just like, even more excited than I already was.
That's great.
Because I was just like, man, like, and I did buy stuff for myself, like some Wanda covers, and I found a nicer copy of a Bronze Age Doom that I had. So I'll do like a swap and then throw my old one into my inventory. But yeah, it was just like really fun and exciting. Just being like, you know what? Con prices suck, but I'm just going to ignore that. And I'm going to find the deals that they don't even know that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally. I felt that too. It was a different convention experience for me too. For the same reasons, I looked at the wall books like a museum thing and enjoyed seeing things that are unique. But I really had a lot of fun just rolling up my sleeves and just just flipping through long boxes of stuff. And normally I don't do that. And I'm not sure why I don't do it. I mean, it takes a long time. It takes a lot of time. But you know, when you find something you like, and I'm not necessarily saying you find something that it's in a dollar bin, but it's worth $20. I mean, that's definitely part of the fun.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a dollar bin, it's worth $1, but you think it's gonna be worth 20 in a you know, when a movie comes out or something. So that's all, and that specking is really fun, and it's inexpensive specking.
Yeah.
But also though, and this happened to both of us, we're just flipping through, and I'm like, I have no idea what this is, but I like it.
Yeah.
You know, it made me feel like these FFs made me feel. I'm like, I want to open this comic book. Like I've never seen something like this.
Yeah.
And I love that. I totally had that feeling.
Yeah.
You know, and because of that, I came home with, you know, a stack of books, almost 60 books, and almost nowhere to put them. Which is actually why I'm bringing these books today, because I was going through my collection trying to figure out what can I liquidate to make room. And so I was kind of reorganizing, you know how you do that stuff. It's part of the fun. And also just putting those 60 books into my collection. So I was like going through, I just kind of went on a detour of just kind of flipping through my own boxes again.
Yeah.
And because I'm seeing things I forgot I had.
Yeah. That's something I'm actually very excited for this upcoming week is I'm going to start bringing one short box of my own books to the office space. And I'm going to be just one short box of my own a day. And I'm going to be going through it. And I'm going to decide what I'm keeping and what I'm selling.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the next week and a half, I'm just going to be going through literally my entire collection.
Yeah.
I will see every book that I own in the next week and a half.
You're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's going to be so much fun. Your knees might hurt, your back might hurt, your fingers might be sore, but you're going to love it, man. It's going to be so much.
I had the setup at the office so that all won't happen.
Yeah, you visions of me like on the carpet digging through.
Yeah, I'm not crisscross applesauce on the carpet.
That's rough, man. It's really tough. But you know, it's so much fun to go through. And what surprised me, although it shouldn't have surprised me, having been a collector as long as I've been, I can tell the story of just about every book that I went through. Like I know where I got it, you know, almost like a tattoo where you get a tattoo because there's a story attached to it. You know where you got it, you know what it signifies and why it's important to you. That's how I feel about all my comics, which is a double-edged sword because it's really fun and it connects me to the books, but it makes it really hard to let books go.
Yeah.
Even books that I'm trying to liquidate that don't really have much value beyond like, you know, be a dollar bin book somewhere else, right? But it's a dollar bin book that has a memory attached to it.
Yeah.
But what am I supposed to do, man? Like I don't have a mansion or a basement, you know, so I have to make tough choices. But that's the point of my bringing that up is just how much fun it was for me to go through these short boxes and just look at them all, you know. I know my name is Mr. Longbox, but I don't own any long boxes. I sold my last long box a long time ago because it's just too heavy, man.
Yeah.
They're really hard to move.
They are, yeah. Another thing I did this week that was just really fun, even though I'm not keeping these books, but I have a short list of books that I'm like always actively looking for.
Yeah.
And if the price is right, I'm going to pull the trigger. And like, they're not my priority books, but they're just kind of like there. So I guess it's like a Daredevil one for you.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, if the price is right and it's like something you just can't say no to.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's a little bit out of your budget, you're like, I got to make it work.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Back in the Game Comics of Absolute Nerds hit me up and sent me a bunch of pictures. And he's like, hey, I'm going to list these tomorrow. Like, kind of like, hey, I'll give you first crack. And so I picked out 4 books. 1 I already own, 3 of which are all on my short list. I'm probably not keeping them, but just an opportunity just to create cash flow within the book already.
Yeah.
And so I picked up from him. The one that I own is Werewolf 32, First Moon Knight. I think probably second to Black Panther. That book has also dropped a ton, and it shouldn't.
Yeah. I want to upgrade my copy. I got a 5.0. I'd like to get back to I used to have one in a higher grade. I'd like to get a little closer to that.
Yeah. I was 7.0. I want to get to an 8. Yeah.
Nice.
8 is about where I want to be with that book. 8 white. So
There you go.
that's so aside. I'm totally getting away from what I'm bringing up, but actually, I'll mention that after. So a Werewolf 32, and then these next 3 books are all books that I've been actively hunting for the last year that I haven't purchased yet, and I got really close to buying one of them, and that one is actually 2 of them, but the first one is Batman 251, iconic Neil Adams Joker cover.
Yeah, that's a beaut.
So he had a lower grade copy, but I mean, it's just such an iconic cover that it's like, it doesn't matter what condition you have in it. It's like Batman 227.
Yeah.
Like, you can have that book in a 10.0, you can have that book in a 1.5.
Yep.
People want it. It doesn't matter.
It does not matter.
Somebody's going to buy that book.
Yep.
And 251 is not quite 227, but it's up there pretty close. Just, I mean, it still might even be up there.
It's 1A and 1B. I think those two are 1A, 1B. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it.
So I got that. I want that book in like a 7.0, 7.5. But getting in a lower grade copy, I'm not mad about.
Yeah, that's great.
So that, and then one that I did come close to buying is also came close to buying Luke Cage, Heroes for Hire 1, which I think that is a book.
We've been talking about that
Yeah.
book together. I've never owned a copy, and I want a copy.
Yeah, I might keep that book from the pictures he sent.
So you've been close to buying it before,
Yeah.
and then you got a good deal.
Yeah, so I might keep that one, even though I shouldn't, because that's not why I bought these books. So I got that, and then I got Marvel Premiere 15. So that was the last of the 4.
First Iron Fist.
First Iron Fist.
That's
Yeah.
another. All those books have come. Well, I'm not sure about Luke Cage 1, but I know that First Iron Fist
That book is tanked.
is tanked, and I get it. Okay, Iron Fist Netflix show could have been a lot better, but it wasn't as bad as people say it was. But like I've said before, even if it was terrible, it doesn't change what that property is in the Marvel comic book universe. So I would say grab your copies that while you can. I got an 9.0 for a steal.
Yeah.
Just about 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's a great book. Yeah. So, and those are books like that's. So one of my like, I guess mindsets when buying books, either from people or out in the world, conventions or whatever. A little bit of my mindset is obviously like I would like to have some profit margins.
Yeah.
And I negotiated with Rohan. We went back and forth. I'm not going to say the price because that's his business. And well, I guess mine too. But I shot him an offer. He countered. I accepted. That's the price he was willing to let it go at. As a price that I was willing to buy it at. But one of the things for me is even if the profit margin is like slim or like not even there, at a book of those caliber, like even just to give people the opportunity to get in on those books, it's like I'm okay to like break even on those books.
Yeah, that's cool, dude.
Because it's just like my overhead's not crazy high.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not like scrounging to like I don't have like big retail space with a bunch of bills or payroll. Like it's just me in this office space, which gives me a lot of freedom. Yeah. And so, even if the profit margins are slim, it's like, man, if I can get a great Bronze Age key like that, and I can help get it into somebody's collection, like that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's great. It's good for your business too, because you can't do this with every book, but when you're on a claim sale, if every once in a while somebody gets a crazy good deal on a book that is way below GPA or whatever, that keeps people coming back to claim sales,
Right.
you know? And also they recognize that you're fair. Like, you're not you're not, trying to nickel and dime everybody for every little thing, and everybody's free to run their business however they want. But I know that for myself as a buyer, when I'm on these claim sales, certain sellers get in, I've formed opinions about certain sellers, right or wrong based on, and there are some that I feel that way about. Like, you know what? I'm not really even in the market to buy a book right now, because I just say I just bought something, right? But I have to put this on because I've seen him give crazy deals. And what if, that book that I'm looking for shows up, and it could happen. And even when it doesn't, it's fun to watch someone else get that good deal. So that's good for your business. But also, I know you do it because it makes you feel good. Like, it's gonna be a good thing. It's a good feeling to be the conduit through which somebody can get their dream book. They never thought they could get. Which is, back to what we're talking about right here. One of the really fun things about being in the hobby is the hunt and the deal and the personal grail, whatever that is. We've all got them, right? I've got a handful of them. You've got a handful of them. I know everybody that's listening and watching they're thinking of them right now, what they are, whether you think they're within reach or not, what they are. And either because you tune into a claim sale and there's a crazy deal going on, or because your financial station changes, or you get an opportunity to make some kind of a trade you didn't expect to do, or who knows what, you get an insurance dividend or something like that.
Yeah.
Suddenly that thing that you thought you never could get is yours. And it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, exactly. And if I could be a person to like do that for like some books, like that's awesome. Like, that is part of
and
the fun of the hobby.
I know you will be, and you already have been, but you're going to do that more and more. We joke about it. I'm like, you always seem to find good deals. And, that you have a knack for that, and that's why I think that you doing this business is such a great decision. You have a knack, seem to have a knack for doing that. But I was laughing because you had closed a deal recently, and you gave me some of the details, and I was like, dude, your luck with this is incredible. But I know it's more than luck. And my declaration was, I'm done buying comics retail. I'm never gonna, after this, like I just can't, after seeing the deals that you find. But you put the effort and the time in to find those things, and then that allows you to make somebody else's dreams come true. So that's great. That's fun.
Yeah, and I think also that's part of going from like, I would still say I'm a collector, but like going more professionally into selling, like, but being a younger collector is, I know what it's like to be offered just trash for books.
Yeah.
And I never want somebody to like feel that way walking away from a deal.
No, everybody should be happy.
Like, if I offer somebody something and they think it's a lowball, which like that's what, or Rohan, I mean, I don't know if he thought it was a lowball, but he came back to me with another price.
Right.
Like, and so if that's what makes him comfortable, like if this is the price he wants to be at, and if I'm willing to be at that price, like that's what matters to me. But a lot of times, like, you go into a shop, man, I even witnessed it. I didn't mention it last week because I totally forgot, but I'm remembering it now. Last week when we were at the con, I watched this dude who's probably older than me for sure, go up to a booth with a handful of slabs and show the guy. And it's the thing, you and I, we've seen it so many times. It happened to you.
Yep.
And the guy looked at the slabs and he's like, oh yeah. He's like, nobody really wants these. And he literally told this guy, yeah, nobody really wants that book unless it's a 9.8. I mean, dude, I genuinely wanted to like interrupt the conversation and be like, bro, stop.
Yeah.
Just like, and I just want to look at the guy and I just want to be like, what do you want for it? Like, because like I genuinely just wanted to make the situation right for him, because I wasn't at this guy's booth. I was at the booth right next to it. So like, if these are the tables, I was like at the very far end of this booth and they were talking at that.
Do you remember what the book was or books were?
I couldn't see the books.
Okay.
But he didn't even get a chance to like say like, hey, this is what I want. Like, he was just getting dunked on for the books that he had. And I was going in there on the booth right next to him, but I was still like 5-6 feet from them. I'm just like going through the boxes mindlessly because at this point I'm just listening.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, nobody wants this book unless it's a 9.8. And it's like, when is that ever true?
It's never true.
Like,
I can tell you right now, it's never true for me because I like a 9, and I like a 9.6. I think you get for the difference in price, a 9.6 is a better deal most of the time.
Right. And so I'm just like, I'm sitting there, and I genuinely just wanted to like turn to my right. I didn't do this, but I wanted to. And I just want to say, stop. Like, look at the dude at the booth and just say, stop. And then look at the guy and say, what do you want for those books? And if I was a rude person, because it would have been rude to interrupt, I would have paid him whatever.
Yeah.
Because I felt so bad for him.
Well, and the funny thing is, if you had said that, the guy at the, I mean, I don't know what the etiquette would be, but in my opinion, at that point, when the guy guy behind the counter said, well, nobody really wants these books unless less than a 9.8. At that point, he said no.
Yeah.
Now he may not really be saying no. He's just laying that out there as a negotiation tactic, but that's messed up. Like,
yeah.
And so I think at that point you would have been right to say, well, what do you got? I'll look at it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the guy's like, whoa, wait a minute. And then I would have fired back and said, but I thought you said that nobody wants it if it's not 9.8. So you just admitted you're not interested. But it would have been a fight if you had done so.
Yeah.
You did the right thing not doing it. but I understand the temptation to do it. Like when I brought slabs to a con, I remember showing the guy, and he said basically that wasn't what he said. It was he
has
he's
a few of those, right?
Yeah, he's like, well, I've already got a couple of them, or I don't really, something along those lines. That was like before I even took them out of the bag that I was carrying them in, and I'm like, oh, okay, fine. And I started just kind of walk away. It's like, well, and I can't remember what he said that he wanted to continue the negotiation, but I just kept walking away. I'm like, no, dude, you just told me no. Like, if that's the way you do business, I don't want to do business with you.
Yeah.
Like, if you're telling me no so that you can set me up to rip me off, I'm not going to stop and keep working with you. Like, deal with me honestly. Say, well, let me see what you have.
Right. Yeah.
Not, oh, well, I don't really want those books because I already have a couple of them. Okay, no problem. Well, hang on a second. Oh, so you do want them, but you just want them for a pennies on the dollar. I get it.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I felt bad because I looked over and I saw the look on his face and I could tell he was embarrassed. Like I could tell
he shouldn't be embarrassed.
Yeah, and I was just like, dude, this is so wrong. Like, if you're going to sell to a seller, obviously don't expect them to pay you fair market value because they have a business. They got to make money in that exchange somewhere. Obviously, what's funny to me is like for bigger books, sometimes when you bring them to booths, they want to give you as little as possible. But you would think for bigger books, you want to give as much as possible, and you might have a lower profit margin. But again, you're carrying like a huge key, which is a flex as a seller. But also, like even a smaller percentage margin is still decent money on a bigger key. But anyways, I totally lost my train of thought. Yeah, so you bring your books. Don't expect them to pay, maybe exactly what you got it for, or what they're going for now. But also, don't expect them to just be slam dunking on you, making a poster of you, like
you should know better or something like that.
Right, exactly. Like that's just not. It's not acceptable. I will never look. I might not offer every single time. I'll say I might not offer the best prices every single time. Like, and that's fine. But I will never disrespect you ever. No. That will be my number one rule. Like, times may change. I might not be able to offer as much as I'm able to offer now, like in the future. And, the market, it ebbs and it flows and it changes and things happen and, whatever. But I will never sit there and tell you, oh, I got 7 of those. I don't want another one. Or I'll never tell you like, oh, people only want these in a 9.8 or
that's not really a good book. Yeah.
I wouldn't, that's just, it's so disrespectful. If I don't want the book, I would just say, oh yeah, like I just don't carry that. Like that type of, in my inventory.
Yeah, you might say, hey, that's a great collection. It's not what I sell, or I've got a handful of those that I've got to move before I can add more.
Right.
But you might, you should definitely walk it around and show because someone's gonna be interested.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. So
the least you can do. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Rohan, by the way, I'm gonna be on his show on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, me too.
I hope that was the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I figured that would be true. So I'll see you there.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll be there. It's a live show.
Yeah.
actually.
So I can
I don't remember what we're talking
so I
about.
can get him banned from Instagram. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's on a YouTube Live.
Oh, YouTube Live.
I totally forgot about that until just now.
Yeah.
So
It's Wednesday the 5th. Yeah, Wednesday the 15th. Yeah. 5 o'clock our time.
oh yeah, Wednesday. Yeah.
I think it's 5:30, something like that. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll let us know.
So that means today, with you guys listening to this, it's my anniversary, my 6-year wedding anniversary.
Yeah. You've been my son-in-law. That's really what you're celebrating, that I've been your father-in-law for 6 years, right?
Yeah. Why don't you go out there and tell her that?
Josh and I are going out to dinner because let's still dare that. Because we're celebrating the 60 years that we've been father-in-law, son-in-law.
Oh, man. Can you imagine that? Wow.
So you got your anniversary and you got your broversary, whatever you call it.
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
I mean, if anybody's watching for the first time, they don't know that. We don't advertise it.
That's true, yeah.
You know, we are.
We did early on.
Yeah, but now I sometimes when we chat with people, they're surprised to hear, or I'll see a comment on the YouTube channel like, "Oh, I didn't know that," kind of thing. And we always love your comments, by the way, you guys. It's fun.
Yeah.
I speaking of dealers doing cool things, I don't know if you've ever, or if anybody watching this has ever tuned into what Code Blue Comics and Crime City Comics, they team up and they do claim sales, not often, like once every couple weeks, it's not as often, but it's always, I like to watch their even if I don't have any money to spend on comics, my budget's dry. I love watching their claim sales because it's always stuff that I don't see anywhere else. It's all pre-code. They got crazy high grade golden age. I have no idea where they're getting this stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Like they must know a lot of people in their 80s or something. I mean, I can't figure it out, but what they do is really cool. At least twice during a 4-hour claim sale, they'll give away like a $300 to $500 comic book.
Yeah.
They'll just do let's say pick a number on the roulette wheel and they'll just spin it. And if you get it, you get it. And I know it's true because I won once, and it was like a $400 to $500 golden age slab, and I mean, that's what the kind of stuff we're talking about doing cool, crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else who's given away a $400 book twice in a claim sale. That's like to me, I'd go, you guys, that's crazy.
You won't find that in my claim sales.
Yeah, no, right? That's not so. But this is what they do. Like, I don't know how they've managed to do it. I don't know how they work their margins, but they obviously have a model. But it's really, really fun and cool of them to do it.
Yeah.
But it's to the point where like, and I have purchased a book from them. So, but. Last time they had a claim sale, which was tonight, actually, they're taking numbers, and I didn't give them a number because I knew I'd be here. But even the time before, I didn't take a number because I'm like, I don't want to win, and I would feel bad if I won another one when I've already won one and I haven't bought something in a while, so I won't do it. But I know they wouldn't care.
Anniversary gift.
It's our yeah. This is gonna get weird. But yeah,
no, you can. I mean, you guys give us an anniversary gift.
Yeah, there you go.
Give us another one.
Yeah, there you go. This is for you. It's just everybody does something different, but it's a fun community, and the community we've talked about before, but we're kind of revisiting why we love the hobby.
Yeah, the
community of comic book collecting. Especially the one that we're in, the Instagram, YouTube, and all that. It really is one of the bright spots of being in the hobby. I really enjoy it, and it's been, what do we say, we're issue 27, so it's been half a year since we've started talking about this stuff.
Yeah, exactly right.
And yeah, it's exactly.
Wow.
Well, 26 would be half a year, so.
Oh yeah.
27, so close enough.
Quick math. Yep.
You're talking about my kind of math. This English major here, but we're more into the community now than we ever have been.
Yeah.
In part because of the podcast, obviously, but you becoming a dealer is a big part of that too. And just getting to know people more. And I have to say, the more I've gotten to know people in the hobby and in this community, the happier I am about the community.
Yeah.
I have had almost exclusively positive interactions with everybody.
Yeah.
And no negative interactions.
Right.
Like, nothing where I was like what you had that one time, is someone's yelling at me at a convention floor. But you knocked his teeth out, so that's cool. No, I'm just kidding. No, he didn't. He was very polite.
Imagine.
But he does, you guys don't know maybe, but Josh and I are both members of a boxing gym. So look out.
Yeah. Careful.
Be careful. Don't step to us. No, I'm just kidding. I do it to break a sweat. I don't know if you do it to actually fight anybody, but
No, I don't have any plans to fight anybody. But it's a good skill to have in case.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a beautiful wife, so
Yes, and I agree with that, and I'm glad you're learning how to box.
So a beautiful and a famous wife at that. So
I know. And a beautiful and famous daughter. 2 beautiful daughters.
Yeah. I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think this is a good stopping point.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun.
It was fun.
It's halfway through a year. It's the start of a new season for us. Basically, it was a good time to revisit some of the things about why we love what we do.
Yeah. So thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Next week we'll talk our market projections.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have kind of a hot take on the market. I don't know.
Okay. I'm interested to hear it. I hopefully will have something very special.
Oh, yes.
To show you guys next week. I don't want to spoil it. And I'm not going to spoil it on Wednesday either.
All right.
Because I want it to be here.
Yeah.
So as tempting as that might be, I'm not going to do it.
All right. Well, it seems like you guys got to be back for next week. So, thanks so much for watching. Follow us on Instagram. I'm at Spros_comics. He is at Mr. Longbox. If you miss any past episodes, you can scroll back and listen to them. They're all great and fun. At least I think so. Mm-hmm. And excuse me. I have a live sale coming up on January 30th, which is a Thursday. So especially make sure you're following me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because that's what will happen. I think that's about it. So thanks so much for everybody for watching. Thank you for our audio listeners. I know there's only a few of you, but thanks so much, guys. It means a lot.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you guys next week.
All right. See you later.
Peace.